Today I'm going to show you how to make a serving dish out of slabs. All the materials that you'll need are in the info section of this video, so check that out, and then you'll be ready to get started. The first thing that you'll want to do is roll out a slab that will act as the base of your dish. So the bigger the base, the bigger the dish will be. It is totally up to you how big of a serving dish you want to make. It also kind of depends on how much clay you have. So take your clay and we're going to roll it into a slab. Take your 2 even sticks and your rolling pin and start to roll out the slab. Okay, once you have your slab, use a rib or an old gift card to smooth over each side. Okay, and then use a needle tool or a paring knife to cut out the shape that you want. So I'm just going to go for as big of an oval as I can fit into my slab here. And save your scraps. And from here, I'm going to move my base onto a board or a piece of cardboard or something else that you can work on and store your piece, because a wider base piece like this is going to be hard to move around once you finish and are waiting for it to firm up when it's still kind of flimsy. So leave it on a board, put that off to the side. And now we're gonna need to roll out some rectangular slabs to use as the walls of your dish. So I cut out a template for myself to make it a little easier. The height of your rectangle will be the height of your dish, so you can decide at this point how tall you want your dish to be. If you just want it to be short, more like a platter, that's totally fine. And chances are you'll have to make more than one of these rectangles and attach them together before you add it to your piece. So roll out as long and skinny of the slab as you can to try to get that rectangular shape. And like I said, we'll probably need a couple of slabs. Alright, I have my rectangles here, and I want to put a little bit of texture in them. I have this nice lavender. You can do this before you cut your rectangles out or after. If you do it after, sometimes you run the risk of kind of warping your slab a little bit, but I had a very particular design that I wanted to put into mine, so I'm using some dried lavender to press in, and it's okay if little bits of stuff stick in the clay, because when we do the kiln firing, it will burn right out. Alright, I've got all my rectangles prepared, and now we're going to have to prep these to be able to attach the edges once they're standing up on the base. So on all of the right short sides, we're going to bevel the front of the slab, and all of the left short sides, we're going to bevel the back. So on this side here, or on these sides, actually I'll do these ones, beveling on the front, so then it's easier for me. And beveling just means take your X-Acto knife or a sharp knife, put it at a 45-degree angle, and we're slicing off the corner of the short side so that it's a slanted surface for the other side of the slab to attach to it. It's very hard to attach these straight, blunt edges. Okay, so they all should have a little bit of a slant on that short side, and then we're going to flip them all over and do the same thing on the opposite side of the back. And one of these sides is likely to be a little bit too long because I didn't measure the exact circumference around this base, so we'll probably have to do a little trimming later, but this will set us up to get started. And we're going to be attaching these slabs all the way around this edge. So use your needle tool and take some time to scratch and slip all the way around the edge. So that means you're doing deep cross hatching all the way around the edge and then adding a little bit of slip with your paintbrush to the area that you cross hatched. Okay, and our slabs are really soft, so we shouldn't really have to scratch and slip the rectangles themselves, but now I'm going to start attaching these by very carefully standing them up on the base and sticking them down with just a little pressure. Okay, so that's the first slab attached. Once things have firmed up a little bit, you'll be able to pick your piece up and clean up the bottom edge, but for now, leave it as is. You can use your paintbrush to clean up this seam on the inside. Okay, and now we're gonna attach our next slab. So to do that, brush a little bit of water on the edge that you beveled and on the edge that you're going to attach to that edge. And then carefully puzzle those two pieces together. And you can smooth over the seam if you want. Now for this last side here, it's a little bit tricky because we don't know exactly how much slab we need. So what I would recommend is picking up that piece, holding it up against that slab, and then doing your best to trim the piece as you need. If you have to, you can always add a little coil to that area to fix the seam, but we should be able to get it attached. All right, put a little water. All right, and last thing before we let this sit for a little bit is just go around and kind of push those slabs down lightly again. Make sure they're nice and stuck to the bottom. If you can, kind of lift it up to make sure it's not totally stuck to the board from you doing your smoothing. There we go. Smooth over those seams on the inside. Okay, and if you like the square edge, you can leave the edge square, but I'm gonna just pinch lightly all the way around to soften those sharp corners. All right, and there you have it. That's a basic serving dish. If you want to add some handles to the side, you can just use a little bit of your leftover slab, scratch and slip, add them to the side, but you will want to let this firm up to leather hard so that it's easier to pick up and it's not flopping around. Once that is the case, pick up your piece and you can use your sponge and just soften that bottom edge that's probably a little sharp around the edge where it's sitting on the board. Other than that, that's it. Enjoy, have fun.